The United States, once hailed as one of the world's most visited countries, is experiencing an unexpected and concerning decline in tourism. For decades, the allure of America's sprawling cities, iconic landmarks, and diverse culture attracted millions of international visitors each year. But a shift has occurred, quiet at first, and then unmistakable. A drop in foreign arrivals that is now raising alarms across the travel and hospitality sectors. This decline isn't rooted in just one issue. It is the result of a complex interplay of political, economic, social, and global factors, all converging to make the U.S. a less desirable destination for international travelers. The most recent data confirms what many in the industry had feared. Tourists are choosing to go elsewhere, and the reasons behind this shift are deeply tied to the United States' evolving image on the global stage. The political climate has played a particularly pivotal role. Over recent years, the United States has adopted policies and rhetoric perceived by many as unwelcoming. Measures that were once positioned as protective or administrative have been interpreted abroad as hostile or exclusionary. Visa procedures have become more stringent, entry requirements more complex, and fees significantly higher. Travelers who once found visiting the U.S. simple and exciting now find it burdensome and expensive. The sense of welcome that once defined the American travel experience has been replaced in the eyes of many with caution, uncertainty, and even fear. This perception is reinforced by stories and testimonials that circulate widely through social media and news outlets. Incidents of travelers being detained at ports of entry, of unexpected visa denials, and of aggressive questioning by immigration officials have created a narrative of unpredictability. In a competitive global tourism market, perception is powerful. While the U.S. may still boast world-class attractions, a growing number of international tourists no longer feel assured of a positive or respectful reception. Safety concerns have also emerged as a significant deterrent. The rise in mass shootings and high-profile incidents of gun violence have shaken international confidence in American safety. Parents, families, and elderly travelers especially are rethinking their vacation plans. For many, destinations in Europe, Asia, or even Africa seem more secure, more affordable, and more culturally enriching than the risks associated with visiting the United States. Economic factors further compound the situation. Inflation and rising travel costs globally have tightened budgets. The US dollar remains strong, which makes the country more expensive for visitors from regions with weaker currencies. The introduction of new travel fees, including surcharges on visas and digital travel authorizations, has made a trip to America even more financially daunting. When compared with the visa-free travel opportunities in other regions, the barriers to entering the US are simply too high for some travelers to justify. There's also been a strategic withdrawal from international tourism marketing. Programs designed to promote American tourism abroad have seen drastic funding cuts. Without aggressive and positive messaging to counteract negative perceptions, international audiences are left with a void filled by whatever headlines or hearsay reach them first. Meanwhile, other countries are ramping up their tourism campaigns, showcasing their affordability, safety, and hospitality. In contrast, the American tourism brand is fading in global consciousness. Some countries have gone as far as issuing advisories about travel to the United States, citing crime, civil unrest, or discriminatory practices. These advisories, even when not official bans, influence public opinion and shape travel choices. Tour operators and airlines have noticed the shift. Some are cutting back on routes to major American cities due to declining demand. Hotels and retailers that once thrived on international spending are beginning to feel the squeeze, especially in cities like New York, Los Angeles, and Miami, where foreign tourists historically spent billions. The decline isn't uniform, of course. Domestic tourism remains strong, bolstered by pent-up demand and a growing preference among Americans to explore their own country. But the international segment, which typically spends more and stays longer, is irreplaceable. The loss of this high-value demographic has broad implications for the economy, especially for regions and industries that depend heavily on foreign visitors. In certain sectors, such as luxury retail, hospitality, and entertainment, the drop is palpable. High-end boutiques that cater to European and Middle Eastern travelers are seeing fewer big-ticket purchases. Museums and cultural institutions that once relied on foreign guests are now adjusting programming and marketing strategies to appeal more to local audiences. Tourism boards are scrambling to reframe the narrative and revive interest in American travel, but many fear that the damage may take years to reverse. What makes the situation particularly urgent is the timing. The global travel industry is in a moment of recovery and resurgence following years of pandemic related restrictions. Countries worldwide are competing fiercely for a limited pool of international travelers. While others are reducing barriers, offering digital nomad visas, or launching massive promotional campaigns, the US is viewed as closing its doors and raising its prices. In this climate, even small policy changes can have massive ripple effects. Tourism is more than leisure. It is diplomacy, economics, and cultural exchange. A declining tourism sector reflects not just a slump in revenue, but a shift in how the world sees the United States. It represents a missed opportunity to build bridges, foster goodwill, and project a positive image abroad. Each traveler who chooses another country over America represents a lost chance for engagement, understanding, and growth. Industry experts are calling for urgent reforms, simplifying visa processes, reducing fees, reinvesting in promotional campaigns, and fostering a more welcoming environment at borders are all being recommended. There is also growing advocacy for reevaluating the language used in political discourse, recognizing its profound influence on international perceptions. Until these steps are taken seriously, the trend is likely to continue. The world is watching, and travelers are choosing. For the United States to reclaim its position as a premier global destination, it must understand that openness, affordability, and safety are not just ideals, they are necessities in the modern tourism landscape. Without them, the slow erosion of America's status as a dream destination will continue, and the economic and diplomatic consequences will only deepen. The path to recovery remains open, but it requires vision, humility, and action.